I wrote this essay on a topic that's been pressing my mind a lot. Because really, when you think about it, we all spend our lives in the pursuit of things that we want, and as a result, we delay the feeling of contentment and just peace of where we currently are. So I've decided to write a part series on is the pursuit of wealth a good way to live? It's a part series. This is part one, and it was originally intended for just myself, my family, my friends, but I figured if I put it on YouTube and someone else finds value from this, that's a win. So here we are. Is the pursuit of wealth a good way to live? Part one. Introduction. Today, wealth has become untethered from internal worth, serving instead as a superficial marker of elevated social standing. These ostentatious displays of it are celebrated, and they are the fuel of cultural icons, those of whom the planet's youth more than less aspire to become. The societal zeitgeist has reduced wealth to a mere token of conspicuous consumption, dramatically shaping the cultural attitudes and perceptions that define wealth within our communities. So when I decided to make a plan to build my wealth by 2034, which is 10 years from now, I realized I don't know what the hell it actually means to be wealthy, or if this is even a good thing to aim at. So I asked myself, is the pursuit of wealth a good way to live? And I plan to answer it. What cannot be denied is that we are all in the pursuit of the good life. But is the suffering for wealth worth it? Is there any suffering or sacrifice at all? Is it a question of, is the destination of wealth a good one? Or does the destination of wealth provide a good journey? In finding out, I expect to understand a lot more about my own values and how I might want to consider spending my time. A few quick things to consider that I will answer in time, no doubt. What is meant by pursuit? Is it at every given moment aligning one's actions with the goal of attaining wealth? Does good constitute a life of minimal sacrifice, or that of where there is plenty of sacrifice in certain domains, but little in others? But most importantly, and I believe anyway, and what is the large focus of this video, is what is meant by wealth, because it is as distorted for me as it probably is for you. Paragraph 1. Hierarchy of needs and the key issue. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a foundational theory in psychology that outlines the different levels of human motivation and progression towards self-actualization. The needs start with attaining food, water, and sleep, then to safety needs, then love, a sense of belonging. Esteem needs a status, recognition, and respect. Then we have self-actualization, which represents the pinnacle of human motivation and fulfillment. It involves realizing one's full potential and developing innate abilities, then finding deeper meaning and purpose in life. As each level of need is satisfied, the individual is motivated to fulfill the next, higher need. What I think happened is that our esteem needs have grown disproportionately more important than they should be to us, or at least our views on it, on how it should be prioritized, have become very distorted. Paragraph 2. Hierarchy of needs and our lack of meaning. I believe that the pursuit of esteem needs is not only delaying us achieving self-actualization, but it is also compromising our safety needs, as if the hierarchy has been rearranged. One could even argue that esteem is now second in the hierarchy, where people are chasing esteem, ego, and status before safety and relationships. To elaborate, have you ever heard of someone buying a brand new car that they cannot afford? Or buying new boots or clothes on Afterpay? Flaunting wealth in peer groups to meet social norms. It's all likely an attempt to satisfy the need for status, recognition, and for the admiration of others, a key aspect of the esteem level. Safety needs represent security and stability. That goes out the door when you've got an overdue credit card charging you 20% interest, or you're behind on your car financed at 15%, which consumes 30% of your paycheck, or you're so low on funds that if you had no work for 2 weeks, you wouldn't be able to cover rent. The ego and pride has long led us in the wrong direction, though in the past it was the pursuit of legacy and pride and now it is material goods, with only the individual and the immediate in mind. The reality is that when we can afford something, we do afford it. This is in line with the saying that luxury was invented to keep people broke, also known as income creep. If you have achieved the basic income to support your physiological and safety needs, then spending money in the pursuit of esteem comes into question. It seems that the pursuit of status and recognition has no end. It's a bottomless pit of resources that you spend your life laboring for in place of the latter, which is art, creativity, and that which you may not know you value yet, as you have not reached a point where your motivation has shifted to pursue self-actualization. If you spend your resources wisely, if they went towards the pursuit of self-actualization and were utilized to build your wealth as it exists in your own authentic framework, I believe that we would be a lot more internally satisfied and would find much greater meaning in the things that we do. Paragraph 3. A brief philosophy of wealth. Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche, is not exactly a philosopher of recent times, but his words, they still speak to us. They carry throughout the ages, and that's because human nature has not changed one bit. In Beyond Good and Evil, the idea of the Übermensch came to mind when thinking about cultivating a sense of authenticity and how one values wealth. This is utter independence from the morality of the herd around him, as Nietzsche puts it, or having master morality rather than slave morality. This is effectively finding your values from within, not from what is imposed upon you, like the zeitgeist I spoke of earlier. Naval, a more modern philosopher, differentiates between financial independence as having sufficient resources to live without working, and having financial freedom, which is being free from the craving for more resources, which I guess is stoicism, or at least a stoic mentality in place of the endless desire for more things, one where happiness is not held hostage by an unending pursuit of wealth. I believe that while there is a place for sensory pleasure and indulgence, our approach to satisfying esteem needs to walk hand in hand with stoicism. And while our idea of what constitutes a wealthy life requires education and self-exploration to be well informed, cultivating a sense of authenticity in how one values wealth must come from within. We cannot allow it to be driven by the zeitgeist as seen on social media. Paragraph 4. Developing an authentic understanding of wealth. A framework. What I have gathered from my readings is that there are 4 key areas to consider here. Physical wealth, mental, material, and relationship wealth. I've posed some questions to myself so that I can begin to build out a framework to design my own wealth from within based on my internal values, however naive they may be. For physical wealth, is this simply the cultivation of bodily excellence? Mental wealth, is this living in alignment with the superego, which is obviously specific to each person, or simply living in peace? Material wealth, this is financial independence versus financial freedom, and the utilization of the formula for generating wealth. Relationship wealth. All I know is that you don't want bad relationships in life. That much I'm certain. I aim to answer these questions in the coming weeks. The next video will be on my design for material wealth. It will consist of conclusions formed from conversations with individuals and self-study. I will update it here as I learn more and as this framework undoubtedly changes, then as efforts also come to fruition. How will you design your wealth? It isn't an easy question, but not answering it will be harder later. Success is a narrow and unlikely line, and you will not stumble upon it, so you must set up the criteria for success. That's Jordan Peterson. Best, Jack.